What is going on, guys? It is TJ here. So I put up a question and answer video on my Instagram, Naps_lax. I got, a couple. I got 5 people to ask me questions. So what I thought was, I'll do this as a starter. 5 questions is enough. And then later on, hopefully when I'm a little bit bigger, I get more and more questions. So I'm going to start off with the questions. This one is from Frederick Larson. How long have you been playing? Why did you start? And what's your go-to stick at the moment? Um, how did how long have I been playing? I've been playing for about 10 years now. Because I started when I was 10. And actually today is my birthday, so me for me. But yeah, 10 years. I started. Let's see. Why did you start? I kind of started because I was a two-sport athlete at the time. I played football and I played hockey. Um, and my coaches told me I should start playing lacrosse. So, I wasn't very good at it my first year. My second year, I was all right. Um, I think once I got to my fifth year playing, I got the hang of it, but I still had no left hand. To this day, I still have no left hand. Um, what is your go-to stick? Now if you're talking about, what's my starter? I do play box and I do play field. So for field, my main starter is my STX Shield, with a 12 diamond ECM on an STX Stallion. For box, it is my murdered out Surgeon U500 on my Stealth Carbon. That's what I have. So next one is East Side Strings. How did you get to know Riley, aka High Strung and Cross? You know, when I first saw this, uh, when I first saw this question, I knew somebody's going to ask me this once I put this up. So how this all started with myself and Riley. So I was on Instagram. I was looking up, heads and whatnot, and I wanted to trade some around because it was my first time pretty much trading. So what I did was, I found this kid, or I found this, page. It was High Strung Lacrosse. I fell in love. His string was amazing. I couldn't believe how many people were actually following him. So I was like, you know what? I said, I'm gonna start doing business with this guy. So that's what I did. So I started doing business with him, or I talked to him. I think I gave him an optic. I gave him an optic, and he traded me for a Surgeon 10 because I've been looking for one. Um, so when he traded it to me, I got it, and I was like, I want to keep doing business with this guy. He's a good guy. He's extremely honest. Um, and I really like the way the head was strung up. So like 2 days, I think about like a week later, um, I was working at a tent sale at Lacrosse or Lax World. Um, I was walking around and then I went in the back to grab myself something to drink because it was actually pretty hot in there. And then I saw I like looked fairly closely, and I didn't want to be like that really weird kid that walked up to somebody and was like, "Hey, I actually walked up to him and started talking about gear, and I was like, "Aren't you Riley from High Strung Lacrosse?" And he's like, "Yeah," and I was like, I did business with you, and your stringing is amazing. I said, I'm gonna keep doing business with you. So when I met him, I think he and I talked for about 45 minutes to an hour. I ain't got no problem with that because Riley's the chillest guy to talk to. But I thought it was kind of cool how we actually you know we got along right away. And nowadays I consider him family. Um, I think he feels the same way because I always talk about stuff. From personal life to lacrosse. I always talk. So that's how I kind of got started with Riley and how he and I first met. All right, so from Proctor Pack, my dude Kevin, do you still have your traditional setup, and how do you like it? I do not. Some kid actually stole my setup. I was extremely mad. I actually fell in love with that stick, and I was actually thinking about switching a lot of my sticks to traditional. I had it was an M80X with I think a 7 diamond with 2 straight and a nylon. Um, it was I love that stick so much. I love it to death, I should say. Um, and I went to I went to go play box with a couple of my buddies, and I left my gear bag, you know, on the side, which I wasn't. At first thought, I was like, it's smart. Nobody's gonna come around. Then, after the game, I was looking around. I couldn't find my traditional head. Um, so someone snagged that, and I was actually extremely mad. Um, so to answer your question, I do not have it anymore. I'm actually looking to get another one, hopefully soon. This whole 10-minute traditional, I actually just ordered something off of them, so hopefully that comes in soon and I'll be getting it. So that's exciting. West Coast Strings. Or no, West Coast. It's Wisconsin team, or it's Wisconsin, but it has. So I'm gonna say West Coast Strings. What's your weapon of choice? Well, I kind of just showed you guys in the beginning. Like I said, if it's box, it's gonna be a murdered out stick. Um, if it's field, I'm definitely have to go with my shield on the stallion. Now, another one of my starters are my Nosses. I use my Nosses a lot, or my Nos, I should say, a lot. Um, and another one I use a lot are my Surgeon 10s. So, sorry about that, guys. Those are probably my weapons of choice. Now, before I had my head stolen, I definitely would say the M80X was definitely my weapon of choice. Um, but what I might do later on is make a quick tutorial on my shield and how I string it up, just in case there's a couple of goalies out there. If you're watching, you can get a detailed sidewall pattern of mine. Um, so yeah, so my boy Derek, which Derek, I'm sending out your head on Friday. Once this giveaway is done, I'm sending out everything on Friday. I also get paid on Thursday, so big money coming in from that. What is your favorite gear that you have ever owned? Um, I'd honestly have to say 3 things that I own right now are definitely, you know, big. I'll go get them for you guys. Alright, so to get back to your question, Derek. So my favorite pieces of gear I have, of course, have to be my championship gear, Bayhawks helmet and gloves. Um, I don't know how I'm gonna do this without all this crap falling on my hands for a little bit. So I've got a Pro 7 Bayhawks championship worn. Uh, excuse me. Uh, I don't know, probably one of the best things I ever own right here is a championship helmet. I got it from one of my buddies who used to play there. Actually, he still plays there. But he came by the lacrosse store that I work at, and he gave us a helmet. And my boss gave it to me because he knew how much I idolized him as a little kid. So ever since then, I've had this. I've just kept this under locks and key. Wouldn't really show it out because people, start bugging you about it. Say, can I buy it? Can I buy it? You gotta keep it. And then the gloves that they wore. They are worn. Actually, I wore them once, and I haven't worn them since. So those are definitely two things right there that are worth a lot to me. Um, I should say I have four things, but one of them I'm actually about to. I feel like I'm about to sell. So another thing I have that's like really, you know, part of my favorite thing. I think I did a video about this. If you guys don't already follow Chesapeake Strings, go do that. The dude's a monster. I love that kid. He and I still talk. Or we talk, not as much as Riley and I do, but we still talk. But I got a matte gray R with Carolina blue chin. Um, I think this is the best thing I own right now. Um, even through this whole Cascade, debacle, I still think it's like my favorite helmet by far. I actually went to a couple of my games and I wore this, and the ref goes, he's like, if something happens, you're aware of what's going to happen. I said, yep. So, I wore it. It's the most comfortable helmet I've ever worn. I said that with my T2s. But I think honestly that's definitely one of the biggest things. And actually, I know this may sound kind of weird. I actually asked myself some questions. I had to think about this. One of those reflection questions. Um, so one of the questions I had to myself. I mean, I know you guys probably look at me like, what the hell? Um, you know, what's one of my biggest accomplishments? Is one thing I know I asked myself. What makes me want to play lacrosse every day, and have I really been to the best of my abilities? So, in all those questions, the one thing that I think I really love about lacrosse is that I get to meet a lot of people. Um, Actually, hold on. What was the question again? I'm like sidetracked right now. I'm still thinking about what I'm doing today. Okay, hold on. Here we go. So, one is how. So I said, what is one thing that you take away from all the lacrosse you've played? Um, how close are you with a lot of people you've met from lacrosse? And who have you idolized? Okay, so the first one, um, actually, I'm gonna do my last one. Who have I idolized? Um, now playing, I used to play defense, so playing defense, I idolized Michael Evans and the Bayhawks. Um, I still do to this day. Probably one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Uh, super super nice. Uh, you know, he'll talk to you after a game. He'll take a picture with you. He's that kind of player that everybody wants to be around. Um, Another person I idolized is Scott Rogers, goalie. He was like one of my biggest fans. I was like one of his biggest fans when he played for Hamilton, and I really loved watching him. He's a big guy, and he was insane. I remember watching him in the national championship game. He played for Notre Dame. And another person that I idolized that I actually finally got to meet recently is Josh Dion. Uh, he was one of my. I think I was one of his biggest fans. I went to every Duke game that was in the state of Maryland, and I was so happy when we won the national title back to back. How close have I gotten to other people through lacrosse? Like I said, Riley and I we're pretty much like family now. One of my buddies, Ricky, he and I always hang out, so he's like a brother to me. Um, so my sister, she's actually not my sister. She is one of my best friends. I love this girl to death. I've done everything for this girl. I do everything for this girl, I should say. Um, so I met her through goalie training at my high school, and she was scared of getting hit by the ball. Of course, every goalie is. Um, and I kind of toughened her up, but nowadays she's still the same. Still a little bum, but she's definitely probably the closest one I have out of everybody. Riley's right there. I feel like he's practically family. My mom and my girlfriend always ask me about him, so uh, and also Kevin he and I met at Shootout for Soldiers this year, and we've gotten pretty close. It's actually kind of funny because he'll message me on Instagram or something. And we'll joke around because something my girlfriend said, which was really funny. Um, and yeah, like, and a bunch of the guys I play with, we're all brothers now. If you guys follow me on Annapolis Lax or my personal Instagram, I just posted a picture saying, happy birthday to myself. This one kid's like, happy birthday. I don't know you, but happy birthday. I was like, listen, dude. I said, you play lacrosse. I said, you're like family to me. So anybody that plays lacrosse that I don't know, if I talk to you once, we're automatically going to be family. It's a brotherhood for the men, sisterhood for the girls. It's a brother sisterhood for the both of us. So I think that's what really got me onto lacrosse. Also, is how close people get. Let's see. What have I learned through the years? I think that was one question that just popped up in my head. I forgot my first one. I really don't feel like opening up my phone again to look at it. What have I learned through the years? That's what I probably have to wait for and answer later. But I've learned a couple things. You know, not the best player on the field is not always the best player. You can't count on one player to make all the plays. Um, I remember when I was 11, my second year playing actually. Um, I my coach said I was the best right-handed shooter as a little kid. Um, then I had no left, so it's the only thing I shot with. And I remember we were we were down by 5, and coach had me on. Or I went out of the game early because I rolled my ankle. And of course, as a little kid, I was crying, throwing a tantrum. But so what I did was I got back in the game with a taped up ankle, barely could move it. Just sat on crease, and I would like dump it in pretty much. So coach said I was the best player, but I said I couldn't do it without the guys that would get the ball. And I couldn't do it without my goalie. So another thing I've learned is goalies are definitely your best friend. Your defense is where it's at. They say defense wins championships. I definitely agree. Last year, my senior year, I played indoor at my high school, and we won the championship. Even though we did have one of the best midfielders slash transition, however you guys want to say the boxes, my defense, they laid it out for me. They told me if I was doing something wrong, they came up to me right away and told me something. So yeah, that's another thing that I've learned. I've also learned like your coaches are going to be there no matter what. Um, my little from when I played little league, or from when I played like little lacrosse up through high school, now in the college, um, a bunch of the coaches, they'll stick with you. They'll be there for you. They'll help you through everything. I mean, that's not just from lacrosse. My football coaches, I should say. They're always there for me. I've had my days where I've seen kind of down and out, and they finally, they pulled me aside and asked me what was wrong. They talked to me. Uh, and I think that's what I love about sports is, you can have a relationship with your coach where it's not like weird, but they're kind of like a father figure to you. And it's the same thing with my indoor team that I played with last year. My buddy's dad coached it, uh, and I'll see him like everywhere today, and he'll keep asking me, he's like, "Are you still doing good? You doing good? You look healthy, like all this stuff." It makes me feel good to know that there's coaches behind me, trying to push me the way I should be and keep me out of trouble. Uh, so yeah, so this kind of wraps up my question and answer segment. I'm gonna do this question and answer number one. I'm probably gonna do so many more of these. Just keep a lookout on them on my Instagram at Annapolis_Lax. Um, and hopefully I'll get more and more people to ask me questions. I hate asking myself questions. It makes me look kind of stupid, but you know, it is what it is. It's my first one, so yeah. So hopefully you guys liked it. Hopefully I answered you guys' questions the way you wanted me to. I know a lot of you guys really probably never got the chance to ask me questions, but it's fine. I got another one coming up. So yeah. So hopefully um, you guys liked it. Always comment, like, subscribe at the bottom. And like I said, I'll probably do some more videos, tutorials, more in depth on my gear bags, or my gear bags. So yeah, hopefully you guys liked it, and I will be back on later. Later, guys.